Hello everyone. Tonight we begin with a whisper from the sands of ancient Egypt, where the Nile's breath is your only mercy and the shadow of the pharaoh's pyramid looms like a god's fist. Imagine this. You're hauling a limestone block heavier than your dreams, your back screaming, the sun flaying your skin to ribbons. The air smells of dust and despair, and every step is a gamble with death, crushed by stone, swallowed by heat, or cursed by the gods for a misspoken prayer. Could you survive a single day as a laborer building the Great Pyramid of Giza? Spoiler, you wouldn't. Let's find out why. Oh, and before we dive in, tell me, where are you watching from? What time is it where you are? Drop a comment. I'd love to know who's curled up in their blanket with me tonight. The dawn is a blade of gold slicing through the desert, and you're already awake, your body aching from a night on a straw mat thinner than your patience. You're in Giza, around 2600 BCE, one of thousands bound to the pharaoh Khufu's dream of immortality. The camp is a sprawl of mud brick huts, alive with the groans of waking laborers and the sharp tang of barley porridge cooking over dung fires. Your hands are calloused, your feet cracked, and your tunic, little more than a linen rag, clings to your sweat. You're not a slave, not exactly. You're a farmer drafted for the flood season, when the Nile drowns your fields and the pharaoh claims your strength. But freedom is a word you don't know, not here, where the overseer's whips crack like thunder and the gods watch with unblinking eyes. You shuffle into line, your stomach growling as you grab a clay bowl of porridge and a crust of bread so hard it could break teeth. The air is thick with flies, there buzz a constant whine, and you swat at them, your patience fraying. You're not alone. Hundreds of men surround you, their faces weathered, their eyes dull with exhaustion. There's a rhythm to the camp, a grim pulse of shouts and footsteps. But you're out of step, your body still learning the weight of this life. You choke down the porridge, its taste like wet earth, and try not to think of your village, your family, the fields you'll never see if a stone crushes you today. The overseer's shout cuts through the haze, a bark in a tongue you barely understand. His name is Tahotep, or so the whispers say, a man with a face like carved granite and a whip that sings of pain. He's not cruel, not exactly, just efficient, his eyes scanning the line for weakness. You avoid his gaze, but you feel it, heavy as the limestone blocks waiting at the quarry. You're assigned to a hauling team, a dozen men tasked with dragging a block from the river to the pyramid's base. The block is massive, 2 tons of unyielding stone, and you're given a rope, a sled, and a prayer to Sobek, the crocodile god, for strength. You're not sure Sobek's listening. The quarry is a half-hour's walk, the sand burning through your sandals, the air shimmering with heat. Your team moves in silence, the rope already biting into your shoulder. The Nile glints to your left, its water a cruel tease. You're thirsty, but there's no time to drink. The pyramid looms ahead, its unfinished slopes a testament to Khufu's ambition, its shadow a reminder of your place. You've heard stories of the pyramid, how it's a gateway to the stars, how the pharaoh's Ka will ascend to Ra. You don't care about stars or souls. You care about surviving the day, about not being the one crushed when the rope slips or the sled tips. At the quarry, the block waits, its surface rough, its edges sharp enough to cut. You loop the rope around it, your hands clumsy, and feel the weight, not just of the stone, but of the gods, the pharaoh, the overseer. Tahotep watches from a distance, his whip coiled, and you notice a woman standing beside him, her presence jarring in this world of men and stone. Her name is Merit, or so you overhear, a priestess of Hathor, goddess of love and destruction. Her linen dress is pristine, her eyes lined with malachite, and she holds a sistrum, its metal rings jingling softly. She's not here to help you. She's here to bless the stone, to ensure the gods approve. But her gaze lingers on you, and it's not kind. It's like she sees your fear, your weakness, and finds it wanting. You pull, your team grunting in unison, the sled creaking as it slides over the sand. The rope burns your shoulder, your feet slip, and the stone resists, as if it knows it's destined for eternity, and you're not. The sun climbs higher, its heat a physical weight, and your mouth is so dry you can't swallow. You think of your old life, of scrolling through feeds or dodging emails, but those are dreams. And this is real. The rope, the stone, the whip. A man beside you, his face lined like papyrus, mutters a prayer to Osiris, god of the dead. You want to pray too, but you don't know the words, and the gods feel distant, their statues cold despite the heat. The sled lurches, and you stumble, the rope jerking your arm. Someone shouts, a warning, a curse, and you see it, a crack in the sled's runner, small but growing, the wood splintering under the stone's weight. Your heart pounds. If the sled breaks, the block falls, and you're the closest. Your body, a fragile thing against 2 tons of limestone. Do you shout to Tahotep, risking his anger for stopping the work? Or do you keep pulling, hoping the sled holds, gambling your life on a splintered piece of wood? The man beside you, the one praying to Osiris, glances at the crack, then at you, his eyes saying what his mouth won't. Choose, and choose fast. You open your mouth, but no sound comes. The rope burns, the stone grinds, and Merit's sistrum jingles, a mocking rhythm. You pull, your body deciding for you, and the sled moves, the crack widening, but holding, for now. Tahotep doesn't notice, or if he does, he doesn't care. Merit's eyes follow you, and you feel her judgment, like Hathor herself is weighing your soul. The pyramid grows closer, its base a chaos of ramps and workers. But it's not a victory. It's a threat, a monument that demands your blood. You understand, even now, why building a pyramid is a death sentence. Not just the stones, but the choices, the gods, the eyes that see you and find you lacking. The sled reaches the ramp, and you stop, your breath ragged, your shoulder bleeding where the rope cut deep. The block is secure for now, but tomorrow there's another, and another, until the pyramid is done or you are. Merit turns away, her sistrum silent, and Tahotep barks for the next team. You're dismissed, your body screaming, your mind louder. The Nile glints, the sand burns, and the pyramid watches, its stones whispering of eternity. You're a laborer in Giza, and the day's not over, but you're already half buried, your choices piling like the blocks you haul. The midday sun is a molten curse, scorching the air as you trudge up the pyramid's ramp, a basket of rubble balanced on your shoulder. The Great Pyramid of Giza looms above, its half-finished slopes a jagged scar against the sky, and the Nile's distant shimmer mocks your thirst. Your tunic is soaked, clinging to your skin like a second wound, and the sand underfoot burns through your sandals, each step a reminder of your fragility. You're a laborer in ancient Egypt, 2600 BCE, bound to Khufu's eternal dream, and the weight of the basket is nothing compared to the weight of survival. The air smells of dust, sweat, and the faint metallic tang of stone, and the ramp vibrates with the grunts of men, the creak of sleds, the overseer shouts. You're not hauling blocks today, you're clearing debris, a task that feels endless, like sweeping the desert itself. Your hands, raw from yesterday's rope, grip the basket's rough reeds, and your back screams with every step. The ramp is narrow, its limestone slick with sand and sweat, and you keep your eyes down, avoiding the drop to your left, where the ground waits like a hungry god. You've seen men fall, heard the crack of bone, the silence that follows, and you don't want to be one of them. The basket's rubble shifts, a sharp stone jabbing your shoulder, and you wince, shifting the load. You're not alone. Dozens of laborers climb with you, their faces masks of exhaustion, their bodies bent under baskets or tools. There's a rhythm to it, a grim march, but you're offbeat, your steps too slow, your strength too thin. The ramp levels out, and you reach the working platform, a chaos of men and stone. Masons chip at blocks, their chisels sparking, while others haul sleds or mix mortar. The air thick with a sour stench of natron and lime. You dump your basket into a pile, the rubble clattering, and wipe sweat from your brow, your hand leaving a streak of dust. You're supposed to return for another load, but your legs tremble, and you pause just for a moment, leaning against a half-set block. The stone is warm, almost alive, and you feel its weight, not just physical but spiritual, like it's soaking up your life to feed the Pharaoh's Ka. You think of your village, your wife's laugh, your son's small hands, but the memory is a ghost, fading in the heat. A shadow falls over you, and you tense, expecting Tahotep's whip. It's not him. It's a man wiry and sun-scorched, his eyes sunken but sharp like a jackal's. His name is Senin, a laborer like you, but different. His hands are steady, his movements quick. And there's a rumor he survived 3 flood seasons on the pyramid, a feat that makes him either blessed or cursed. He's carrying a water jug, its clay cracked but holding, and he offers it without a word. You hesitate, water is rationed, and taking it could mean trouble, but your throat is sand, and you grab the jug, gulping the warm, gritty liquid. It tastes of river mud, but it's life, and you feel a flicker of gratitude. Though Senin's eyes hold no warmth, only calculation. You're new, he says, his voice low, like he's testing you. You nod, handing back the jug, and he leans closer, his breath sour with onion. Don't rest here. They see you, they mark you. He glances at the overseers, their whips coiled but ready, and you follow his gaze. Tahotep is there, barking orders, but it's another man who catches your eye, a scribe, his linen kilt pristine, his stylus scratching a papyrus scroll. His name is unknown, but his presence chills you, like the shadow of Anubis. He's counting, recording, and you've heard whispers of scribes who note not just stones but men, their mistakes, their fates. You stand, your basket empty but heavy, and Senin slips away, his jug tucked under his arm, leaving you with his warning and the scribe's gaze. You start down the ramp, the basket banging against your hip, but your mind is on Senin, his words, his survival. How does he do it? Strength, cunning, or something darker? You've seen the amulets some laborers wear, scarabs, eyes of Horus, carved to ward off evil. But Senin wears nothing, his neck bare, his faith in himself or nothing at all. You reach the rubble pile at the ramp's base, a mountain of broken stone and sand, and fill your basket, the shards cutting your hands. The air is thicker here, the dust clogging your lungs, and you cough, tasting blood. You think of your old life, of air filters and sick days, but here, sickness is a death sentence, and rest is a luxury you can't afford. As you hoist the basket, you notice something half buried in the rubble, a small statue, no bigger than your fist, carved from alabaster. It's a falcon, its wings folded, its eyes inlaid with obsidian that glints like a living thing. Horus, god of the sky, protector of the pharaoh. You freeze, your heart pounding. Finding an offering is dangerous. It could be a blessing, meant for the gods, or a curse, left to trap the unwary. You glance around, but no one's watching. Not the overseers, not the scribe, not Senin. Do you pick it up, offer it to Tahotep, and risk being accused of theft? Or do you leave it, buried, and pretend you never saw it, knowing the gods might punish your silence? The falcon's eyes seem to follow you, and you feel Horus's gaze, weighing your soul against a feather. You step back, leaving the statue where it lies, and start up the ramp, the basket heavier now, though it's just rubble. Your choice feels wrong, like you've angered something ancient, but you keep moving, the ramp's slope pulling at your legs. The platform is louder now, the mason's chisels a frantic rhythm, and you dump your load, your arms trembling. You want to rest, to hide, but Senin's warning echoes, and you see the scribe again, his stylus moving, his eyes flicking toward you. Does he know about the statue? Did he see you hesitate? You turn away, your breath shallow, and start down for another load. The ramp a treadmill of pain. A scream pierces the air, sharp and final, from the platform's edge. You freeze, the laborers around you pausing, their faces blank but tense. A man has fallen, his body crumpled on the stones below, blood pooling like an offering. You don't know his name, but you've seen him hauling ropes, his laugh loud despite the work. Now he's still, and the overseers shout, not for help but for order. Their whips cracking to keep the work moving. You want to look away, but you can't. The blood, the broken body, the indifference of the pyramid. You think of the falcon statue and wonder if it was his, if he touched it, if Horus judged him. You think of Senin and wonder if he's seen this before, if he knows how to avoid it. The scribe is there, his scroll open, recording the death like it's just another block set in place. You feel his eyes on you, or maybe it's Horus, or maybe it's your own guilt. Do you keep working, head down, like the others, and let the dead man fade into the sand? Or do you speak up, demand a moment, a prayer, and risk the whip, the scribe's mark, the god's wrath? The choice is a stone crushing you, and you choose silence, your basket filling again, your steps heavy. The pyramid doesn't care, its stones rising, its shadow growing. You understand as you climb the ramp why this is a death sentence. Not just the falls, the heat, the whips, but the choices that carve you away, piece by piece, until you're as lifeless as the stone. You reach the platform, dump your rubble, and pause, just for a breath. The dead man's blood a stain in your mind. The scribe is closer now, his stylus still, his eyes unreadable. Senin is there too, hauling a basket, his face blank, but his gaze sharp, like he knows what you chose. The falcon statue waits below, buried but watching, and you feel its eyes, Horus's eyes, the pyramid's eyes. You're a laborer in Giza, and the sun is still high, the work endless, the gods unforgiving. You turn, basket empty, and start down the ramp, the sand burning, the air heavy, and the weight of your silence heavier still. The twilight is a shroud, wrapping the Giza plateau in a haze of dust and fading light as you drag a sled loaded with mortar jars up the pyramid's ramp. The air is heavy, thick with the sour tang of natron and the acrid bite of sweat, and the Nile's distant glimmer is a cruel reminder of water you can't drink. Your shoulders burn, the rope cutting into your flesh, and you're a constant drone that drowns your thoughts. You're a laborer in ancient Egypt, 2600 BCE, bound to Khufu's monument, and every step is a theft from your life. The Great Pyramid looms above, its unfinished slopes a silent demand for your blood, and the ramp's limestone is slick underfoot, each slip a whisper of death. You're not hauling stone today, you're carrying mortar for the masons, but the weight is no less crushing, and the overseer's shouts are no less sharp. Your team, 6 men, their faces carved with exhaustion, pulls in silence, the sled's wooden runners groaning under the jar's weight. Your hands, blistered from days of labor, grip the rope, and your back screams with every heave. The sun is gone, but the heat lingers, a phantom pressing against your skin, and the torches lining the ramp cast shadows that dance like the god themselves. You think of the man who fell, his blood a stain you can't unsee, and of Senin, his jackal eyes and cryptic warnings. You think of the falcon statue buried in the rubble, and feel its gaze, Horus watching, judging. You're not sure what's worse, the pyramid's hunger or the choices it forces, each one a cut that leaves you less human. The ramp twists upward, narrow and treacherous, and you keep your eyes on the sled, avoiding the drop to your right, where the sand waits to swallow the careless. You've seen the bodies carried away, their names unrecorded, their families left to guess. The mortar jars clink softly, their clay surfaces slick with condensation, and you pray they don't crack, because a broken jar means a whipping, or worse. Your team's rhythm is uneven, the man behind you broad-shouldered, his beard flecked with dust, grunting with every pull. You don't know his name, but you've seen him pray to Thoth, god of wisdom, his lips moving in the dark. You want to pray too, but your gods are distant, their names lost in the haze of your old life, where deadlines were your only overseers. A low hum breaks your focus, a sound so faint it's almost a wind, but it's not. It's coming from the platform above, a chant, rhythmic and heavy, like the heartbeat of the pyramid itself. You strain to hear, your breath ragged, and catch words, Anubis, Osiris, names that chill you despite the heat. The ramp levels out, and you see it, a small shrine, carved into the pyramid's unfinished side, its interior lit by a single torch. A statue stands within, jackal-headed Anubis, his eyes painted red, his hands holding a scale. Before him kneels a man, his back bare, his voice the source of a chant. He's not a laborer, not with that clean linen kilt. And you realize he's a priest, his presence a blade in the night. You stop, your team halting, the sled creaking to a rest. The overseer, not Tahotep, but another, his face pocked with scars, shouts for you to move, but you're transfixed. The priest's chant grows louder, and you see something in the shrine, a clay tablet, its surface etched with symbols you don't know, but one stands out, a reed crossed with a snake, like a warning or a curse. You think of the falcon statue, and your skin prickles, the air suddenly heavier, like the gods are breathing too close. The priest turns, his eyes meeting yours, and you see his face, lined ancient, but alive with a fire that makes you step back. His name is unknown, but his gaze is await, and you feel marked, like the tablet symbols are carved into you. The overseer's whip cracks, not touching you but close enough to sting, and you pull, the sled lurching forward. The priest returns to his chant, but you feel his eyes, or Anubis's, following you. The platform is a chaos of torches and men, masons mixing mortar, laborers hauling blocks, the air thick with dust and shouts. You unload the jars, your arms trembling, and stack them near a mason's bench, their clay cool against your palms. You're supposed to return for another load, but the shrine pulls at you. Its chant a thread you can't cut. You glance at your team, their faces blank, and see the broad-shouldered man watching the shrine too, his lips moving, maybe praying, maybe cursing. A hand grips your arm, and you flinch, expecting the overseer. It's Senin, his jackal eyes glinting in the torchlight, his grip tight but not cruel. "Don't look," he whispers, his voice a hiss. "Not at him. Not at that." He nods toward the shrine, and you see fear in his face, a crack in his survivor's mask. You want to ask why, to demand what the tablet means, but his grip tightens, and he pulls you toward the ramp, away from the shrine. You look, you're his, he says, and you don't know if he means the priest or Anubis or something worse. You nod, your throat dry, and he releases you, slipping into the crowd, his shadow gone before you can blink. You start down the ramp, the empty sled lighter, but no less cruel, its ropes still biting your hands. The chant fades, but the tablet's symbols linger in your mind, the reed and snake twisting like a living thing. You think of Senin, his fear, his survival, and wonder what he's seen, what he's buried to stay alive. You think of the fallen man, his blood, and wonder if he looked too long, if Anubis weighed his soul and found it wanting. The ramp is darker now, the torches spaced farther apart, and you feel the shrine's pull like a hook in your chest. Do you go back, steal a glance at the tablet, risk the priest's wrath for answers? Or do you keep moving, head down, and let the gods keep their secrets, knowing they might punish you anyway? You choose the ramp, your steps heavy, the sleds creak a mockery. The Nile glints below, its water black in the night, and you hear a splash, faint but sharp, like something or someone falling in. You don't look, don't want to know. Your team is silent. The broad-shouldered man's prayers stopped, his eyes on the ground. You reach the mortar shed, a mud brick hut stinking of natron and lime, and load another sled. The jar's heavier now, though they're the same. Your hands bleed, the cuts reopening, and you wrap them in a strip of linen torn from your tunic. The pain a reminder you're still alive, for now. As you start back up, you see him, the priest, standing at the ramp's base, his torch casting a halo of red light. He's alone, the shrine empty behind him, and he's holding the tablet, his fingers tracing its symbols. He doesn't look at you, but you feel his presence like a cold wind in the desert. You pull harder, the sled groaning, and your team moves faster, as if they feel it too. The priest chant starts again softer, and you catch a word. Ka, the soul, the part of you the pyramid claims. You think of the pyramid, its stones, its hunger, and realize the tablet isn't just a prayer. It's a ledger, a record of souls, yours included. You reach the platform, unload, and pause, your breath ragged. The priest is gone, the shrine dark, but the tablet's symbols burn in your mind, and you know you're not free. Senon's warning, you're his, is a chain, and you're bound to Anubis, to the pyramid, to the choices that carve you away. You start down the ramp, the night pressing close, the Nile whispering. You're a laborer in Giza, and the gods don't sleep, their scales always weighing, their ledgers never full. The sled pulls you, the ramp holds you, and the tablet waits, its reed and snake a promise of something you can't outrun. The dawn is a thief, stealing the cool of night as you kneel in the sand near the pyramid's base, your hands scraping at a pile of broken limestone to fill a basket. The air is sharp with the scent of dust and the faint, bitter tang of natron from the mortar sheds, and the Nile's distant hum is a cruel tease to your parched throat. Your tunic is stiff with sweat and grime, your knees bruised from hours of crawling, and the great pyramid of Giza looms above, its half-built slopes a silent judge of your labor. You're a laborer in ancient Egypt, 2600 BCE, bound to Khufu's eternal monument, and every shard you gather is a piece of your life ground to dust. The camp stirs behind you, a low hum of voices and clattering pots. But here, at the pyramid's edge, you're alone, or as alone as you can be with the god's eyes on you. Your fingers bleed, the limestone's edges slicing through your calluses, and you wince, wiping your hands on your tunic, leaving streaks of red and gray. You're clearing debris today, a task that feels pointless. There's always more rubble, more sand, more work. But the overseers don't care about meaning, only results. The basket is heavy, its reed splintering into your shoulder, and you stand, your back protesting, to carry it to the dump pile. The pyramid's ramps are alive with movement, sleds groaning, men shouting, whips cracking, and you navigate the chaos, your steps careful on the uneven ground. You've seen men trip, their basket spilling, their bodies whipped for carelessness, and you don't want to be one of them. The dump pile is a mound of shattered stone and discarded tools, a graveyard of labor, and you tip your basket, the rubble clattering into the heap. As you turn to go, something catches your eye, a glint in the pile, half buried under a broken chisel. It's a scarab carved from green jasper, its surface polished to a sheen, its legs tucked as if ready to roll the sun across the sky. Khepri, god of rebirth, symbol of the dawn. You freeze, your heart thudding. Scarabs are sacred, offerings to the gods or charms for the dead, and finding one here in the rubble feels like a trap. You glance around, but the overseers are distant, their shouts aimed at a team struggling with a sled. Do you pick it up, offer it to Tahotep, and risk being accused of stealing a holy thing? Or do you leave it, buried, and pray Khepri doesn't curse your silence? You step back, your sandal crunching on a stone, and leave the scarab where it lies, its green glow haunting you as you return to the rubble pile. Your choice feels wrong, like you've spat in the god's face, but you kneel again, scraping at the limestone, your hands mechanical. The sun climbs, its heat a fist against your neck, and the air grows thicker, the dust clogging your lungs. You cough, tasting blood, and think of your old life of clean air and sick days, but here, sickness is a whip slash, and rest is a dream. The pyramid doesn't care about your pain. It demands, and you give until you break. A shadow moves across the sand, and you look up, your heart lurching. It's not an overseer, but a woman, her linen dress frayed but cleaner than yours, her hair bound with a linen strip. Her name is Neith, or so you've heard, a healer who tends the camp's wounds when the priests allow. Her eyes are sharp like a heron's, and she carries a basket of herbs, their scent cutting through the dust, mint, coriander, something bitter you can't name. She's not here for you, not really. She's heading to the workers' huts, but her gaze lingers, and you feel seen, exposed, like she knows about the scarab, or your fear, or the weight of your choices. You're bleeding, she says, nodding at your hands, and you glance down, surprised to see the cuts still oozing, the sand clinging to the red. You shrug, because words are effort, and she kneels beside you, uninvited, pulling a cloth from her basket. She wipes your hands, her touch firm, but not unkind, and the cloth stings, soaked in some herb that burns like fire. You hiss, but she doesn't stop, her eyes on your cuts, not your face. You're not careful, she says, her voice low, like she's sharing a secret. The gods notice. You want to ask what she means, to tell her about the scarab, but her presence is a weight, and you stay silent, your hands trembling under her care. She wraps them in a strip of linen, her fingers quick, and stands, her basket creaking. Don't touch what's not yours, she says, and walks away, her words a knife in your gut. You stare after her, the linen tight around your hands, and wonder if she saw the scarab, or if she meant something else, the pyramid, the gods, your own life. You return to the rubble, your basket filling slower now, the cuts throbbing despite Neitha's care. The sun is higher, the heat a living thing, and the camp's noise grows, shouts, chisels, the groan of ropes. You think of Senan, his jackal eyes, his warning about the priest's shrine, and wonder if Neith knows him, if she's part of whatever he fears. You think of the fallen man, his blood, and wonder if Neith tended him, or if he was too broken to save. The scarab's glow lingers in your mind, Kepri's promise of rebirth mocking your exhaustion. A shout from the ramp pulls you from your thoughts, harsh and panicked. You stand, your basket half full, and see a sled teetering, its limestone block tilting, the ropes slipping from the team's hands. Men scramble, their faces pale, and the overseer, Tahotep himself, barks orders, his whip raised but useless. The block is massive, its shadow a threat, and you realize it's sliding toward the ramp's edge, where a boy stands, no older than 12, frozen with a water jug in his hands. You don't know his name, but you've seen him scurrying between teams, his eyes too big for his face. He's going to die, crushed like the man who fell, unless someone moves. You drop your basket, your body acting before your mind, and run toward the ramp, your sandals slipping on the sand. The block lurches, the ropes snapping, and the team scatters, their shouts drowned by the stone's grind. You reach the boy, grabbing his arm, and pull him back, the jug shattering as you both fall to the sand. The block crashes, missing you by inches, its impact shaking the ground, dust exploding like a storm. You're coughing, your lungs burning, the boy trembling beside you, his eyes wide but alive. The team is silent, the overseer's whip still, and you feel Tahotep's gaze, heavy as the stone you just escaped. You stand, pulling the boy up, and see Neith in the distance, her basket still, her eyes on you. She doesn't move, doesn't speak, but you feel her judgment, or maybe it's Kepri's, or your own. Tahotep approaches, his face unreadable, and you brace for the whip, for punishment for leaving your post. Instead, he nods, a gesture so small it's almost nothing, and turns to the team, shouting for new ropes. You're dismissed, your heart pounding, and you lead the boy away, his hand small in yours. He doesn't speak, but his grip is tight, and you wonder if he saw the scarab, if he knows the gods are watching. You return to the rubble pile, your basket waiting, the scarab still buried. Its glow, a secret you can't share. The boy runs off, his jug gone, his life a debt you paid without thinking. You kneel, scraping at the limestone, and feel the pyramid's hunger, its stones demanding more than your strength, your choices, your soul. You understand as you fill the basket why this is a death sentence, not just the blocks, the ramps, the whips, but the moments that force you to choose. Save a boy, leave a scarab, run, or stay. And each choice takes a piece of you, until you're as broken as the rubble you carry. The sun burns, the Nile hums, and 'neath his words, don't touch what's not yours. Echo, a warning you're not sure you can heed. You hoist the basket, the ramp waiting, the pyramid watching. The boy is gone, Tahotep's not a memory, and the scarab lies buried, but not forgotten. You're a laborer in Giza, and the day is young, the work endless, the gods unforgiving. The sand burns, the air chokes, and the weight of your choices is heavier than any stone. The noon sun is a relentless hammer, pounding the Giza plateau as you stand ankle deep in the Nile's muddy shallows, hauling a reed basket filled with wet clay. The air is thick, heavy with the stench of river rot and the sharp tang of your own sweat, and the water laps at your calves, cool but treacherous, hiding stones that bruise your feet. Your tunic is soaked, clinging like a second skin, and your hands, bandaged from Neetha's care, ache as they grip the basket's splintered handles. You're a laborer in ancient Egypt, 2600 BCE, bound to the Great Pyramid of Khufu. And today you're not on the ramps, but at the river, gathering clay for mortar, a task that feels like wrestling the Nile itself. The pyramid looms in the distance, its unfinished slopes a silent demand, and the shouts of overseers echo across the water, sharp as the crack of a whip. Your team, 5 men, their bodies lean and scarred, works in silence, their baskets sloshing as they wade through the shallows. The clay is heavy, its weight pulling at your shoulders, and every step is a fight against the river's current, sluggish but strong enough to trip the unwary. You've heard stories of men swept away, their bodies found downstream, or not found at all, offered to Sobuk, the crocodile god, who lurks in the reeds. You keep your eyes on the water, watching for ripples, for the glint of eyes, and try not to think of the scarab you left buried, or Neetha's warning, or the boy you saved, his small hand a ghost in yours. The pyramid doesn't care about your fears. It demands your labor, your life, your soul. You scoop another handful of clay, its texture slick and cold, and pack it into the basket, your fingers sinking deep. The river smells of life and death, fish and mud, and something sharper, like blood. And you wonder if it's your hands, bleeding again through Neetha's bandages, or something else, something the Nile keeps hidden. A man nearby, his beard matted with clay, curses softly, his basket slipping, and you glance at him, his eyes hollow but fierce, like he's fighting more than the river. You don't know his name, but you've seen him on the ramps, his shoulders broad but bowing, his prayers to Ta, god of craftsmen, a whisper in the dust. You want to speak, to ask his name, but words are heavy here, and silence is safer. A shadow moves on the bank, and you tense, expecting Tahotep's whip. It's not him. It's a man tall and gaunt, his linen kilt stained but finer than yours, his head shaved like a priest's. He carries a staff, its tip carved with an ankh, the cross of life, and his eyes are dark, unblinking, like the obsidian in the falcon statue you found. His name is Himiunu, or so the whispers say, an architect of the pyramid, a man who speaks to Khufu himself. He's not here to work, but to watch, his presence a chill in the heat, and you feel his gaze, not on you, but through you. like he's seeing the pyramid's future, your bones buried in its shadow. You lower your eyes, scooping clay faster, but his staff taps the ground, a rhythm that feels like a countdown. The river's current shifts, tugging at your legs, and you stumble, the basket lurching. Clay spills, a dark smear in the water, and you curse, scrambling to save what's left. Himiunu's staff stops, and you feel his eyes now, sharp as a chisel. The man with the matted beard grabs your arm, steadying you, his grip hard but not cruel. "Careful," he mutters, his voice low, like he's afraid the river will hear. You nod, your heart pounding, and pack the basket again, the clay heavier now, like it's punishing you. Himiunu turns away, his staff tapping again, but you know he saw, and you know it's marked not on papyrus, but in the god's ledger, where every mistake is a debt. You wade to the bank, your basket full, and dump the clay into a pile, its wet slap echoing in the heat. The overseer, a man with a scar across his cheek, not Tahotep, nods but doesn't speak, his whip coiled at his hip. You're supposed to return to the river, but you pause, your legs trembling, and notice something in the mud, a small amulet shaped like a lotus flower, its blue faience glinting like the Nile at dawn. It's an offering to Neith, goddess of creation and war, the same Neith who shares the healer's name. You freeze, your breath catching. Another sacred thing, like the scarab, like the falcon, left where it shouldn't be. Is it a test, a trap, a curse? You think of the healer's warning, don't touch what's not yours, and feel the amulet's pull, its lotus petals a promise or a threat. You step over it, leaving it in the mud, and wade back into the river, your basket empty, but your mind heavy. The choice feels wrong, like you've angered Neith or the healer or both, but touching it felt like inviting worse. The man with the matted beard is there, scooping clay, and he glances at you, his eyes narrowing, like he saw the amulet or your hesitation. You're learning, he says, his voice a grunt, and you don't know if he means the river, the work, or the gods. You nod, scooping clay, but the amulet's glow lingers, and you feel Himiunu's staff, tapping somewhere on the bank, a rhythm that binds you to the pyramid's hunger. A cry splits the air, raw and desperate, from upstream. You turn, the water swirling around your knees, and see a man thrashing, his basket gone, his arms flailing. The current has him or something else, Sobuk, maybe, or the Nile's own wrath. Your team freezes, the overseer shouting, but no one moves, their faces blank with fear or resignation. You think of the boy on the ramp, his life a debt you paid, and your body moves before your mind, wading toward the man, the river fighting you with every step. The man with the matted beard grabs your arm, his grip like iron. "Don't," he says, his eyes fierce. He's gone. You hesitate. The man's cries weaker now, his body sinking. And you see Himiunu on the bank, his staff still, his face unreadable. You pull free, but it's too late. The man is gone, the river smooth again, its surface hiding what it took. You stand, the water cold, your basket floating away, and feel the weight of your choice or lack of one. The overseer's whip cracks, not at you, but at the air, a warning to keep working. And you wade back, your hands empty, your heart heavier. The man with the matted beard doesn't look at you, his hands scooping clay, but you feel his judgment, or maybe it's your own. Himiunu is gone, his staff's rhythm a memory, but you know he saw, and you know the gods did too, Sobuk's teeth, or Neitha's arrows waiting for your next mistake. You grab a new basket, the reeds cutting your palms, and return to the river. The clay's weight, a punishment you deserve. The amulet is still there, half buried, its lotus glowing like a star in the mud. You step over it again, but it feels alive, watching, and you wonder if it's tied to the man who drowned, or the scarab, or the tablet in the shrine. You wonder if everything in Giza is connected, a web of debts and curses, and you're caught, struggling to breathe. The sun burns, the river pulls, and the pyramid looms. its stones whispering of eternity, your life a fleeting offering. You dump another load, the overseers gnawed grudging, and wade back, the Nile's current stronger now like it's angry. The man with the matted beard works beside you, silent, his prayers to tar a faint hum. You want to ask about the amulet, about Himiunu, about survival, but his face is closed, and the river is loud, drowning your courage. You scoop clay, your hands bleeding, and feel the pyramid's hunger, its gods, its choices. You understand, as you wade deeper, why this is a death sentence. Not just the river, the stones, the whips, but the moments that force you to choose. Save a man, leave an amulet, fight or yield. And each choice is a cut, bleeding you dry until you're part of the pyramid forever. The Nile hums, the clay weighs, and the lotus waits, its glow a promise you can't trust. The dusk is a bruise across the Giza sky, its purple haze heavy with the scent of cooling sand and the faint, acrid bite of torch smoke. You stand on a narrow ledge of the Great Pyramid's unfinished slope, your hands gripping a wooden mallet, your tunic stiff with dried clay and sweat. The Nile glints below, a silver thread in the fading light, and the shouts of laborers echo from the ramps, a rhythm as relentless as the sun that scorched you all day. You're a laborer in ancient Egypt, 2600 BCE, bound to Khufu's monument, and tonight you're not hauling or digging, but setting stones, a task that demands precision and offers no forgiveness. The pyramid's weight presses against you, not just its stones, but its hunger, its gods, its endless ledger of debts. Your arms ache, your feet are bruised from the uneven limestone, and every swing of the mallet is a prayer you don't know the words to. You're paired with a mason, a man named Ka, his face creased like papyrus, his eyes steady despite the torchlight's flicker. He's older, his hands scarred but deft, and he survived longer than most, a fact that makes you both trust and fear him. He's shaping a block with a copper chisel, its edge glinting as he carves a perfect angle, and you're to hammer wooden wedges into the stone's base, leveling it for the next layer. The block is massive, its surface warm from the day's heat, and you feel its resistance, like it's alive, fighting to stay wild. Ka doesn't speak, just points where to strike, and you swing. The mallets thud a dull heartbeat in the night. The wedge sinks, but not enough, and you strike again, your shoulders screaming, your hands slipping on the sweat-slick handle. The ledge is narrow, barely wide enough for two, and the drop to the ramp below is a shadow that yawns like Anubis's jaws. You've seen men fall, their screams cut short, their bodies broken offerings to the pyramid's greed. You keep your balance, your sandals gripping the stone, but the torchlight plays tricks, making the ledge seem to tilt. The air smells of resin and dust, and the distant Nile carries a faint tang of fish, a reminder of life beyond this stone prison. You think of the lotus amulet in the mud, the scarab in the rubble, the man who drowned, and feel their weight, like the gods are tying you to their scales. Ka glances at you, his eyes unreadable, and you wonder if he knows about the amulet, or Neetha's warning, or the boy you saved. You wonder if he's seen the same shadows you have. A low chant drifts from the pyramid's base, soft but growing, a sound that makes your skin prickle. It's not the laborers, not the overseers, it's a priest or priests, their voices weaving a prayer to Ra, the sun god, whose light will bless these stones tomorrow. You can't see them, but you feel their presence, like a cold hand on your neck. Ka pauses, his chisel still, and mutters something, a prayer, a curse, you can't tell. You swing the mallet, the wedge sinking deeper, but the chant pulls at you, and you glance down, a mistake. The torchlight catches something on the ledge, half hidden by a pile of stone chips, a small figurine, carved from bone, shaped like a baboon, its eyes tiny beads of lapis. Thoth, god of wisdom, scribe of the gods. Your breath catches. Another offering, another trap, like the scarab, the lotus, the tablet in the shrine. You freeze, the mallet heavy in your hands, and Ka notices, his eyes flicking to the figurine, then to you. "Leave it," he says, his voice low, like he's speaking to the stone, not you. You nod, but the baboon's lapis eyes gleam, and you feel Thoth's gaze, weighing your thoughts, your secrets. Do you obey Ka, leave the figurine, and risk the god's wrath? Or do you pick it up, hide it, offer it later, and gamble with the priest's justice? The chant grows louder, the priest's voices rising, and you swing the mallet, your choice made in the motion, the wedge sinking true. The figurine stays, but its eyes follow you, and you know you've not escaped, only delayed. Ka works faster now, his chisel a blur, and you match his pace, the mallet's rhythm a shield against the chant, the figurine, the pyramid's hunger. The block is almost set, its angle perfect, and you feel a flicker of pride, fleeting as the Nile's breeze. But the ledge shifts, or seems to, a faint tremor underfoot, and you freeze, your heart pounding. Ka grabs your arm, his grip like stone, and you both hold still, the torchlight swaying, the chant unbroken. The tremor passes, but the air is heavier, like the pyramid itself is breathing, and you hear a crack, faint but sharp, from the block you're setting. It's small, a hairline fracture, but it's there, and you know what it means? A flawed stone is a flawed offering, a curse on the pharaoh's Ka, a death sentence for the men who set it. Ka's face hardens, his eyes on the crack, and you see the choice in his silence. Report the flaw to Tahotep, risk punishment for failing the gods, or hide it, set the stone, and pray Ra doesn't notice. You want to speak, to beg for the right answer, but Ka's grip tightens, and he shakes his head, a warning as clear as a whip's crack. "We finish," he says, and you nod, your throat dry, the mallet heavy. You strike, the wedge sinking, the block settling, the crack hidden, but not gone. The chant peaks, the priest's voice is a storm, and you feel the pyramid's approval, or its indifference, a weight that crushes you. A figure appears on the ledge, moving through the torchlight like a shadow given form. It's not Tahotep, not Himianu, but a woman, Merit, the priestess of Hathor, her sistrum silent, her malachite-lined eyes glinting like the baboons. She's not supposed to be here, not on the pyramid slopes, but her presence is a law unto itself, and you feel her gaze not on the block but on you, like she sees the crack, the figurine, your fear. Ka doesn't look at her, his chisel moving, but you feel his tension, like a rope about to snap. Merit steps closer, her dress brushing the stone, and says, "The gods see all flaws." Her voice is soft, but it cuts, and you wonder if she means the stone, or you, or both. You swing the mallet, your hand shaking, and the wedge holds, the block set. Merit doesn't move, her eyes unblinking, and you feel Hathor's breath, love and destruction in one. Do you speak, confess the crack, and beg her mercy, knowing it could mean your life? Or do you stay silent, let Ka's choice stand, and carry the sin, hoping the gods are blind? The chant fades, the priest's voice is gone, and the silence is worse, like the pyramid is listening. You lower the mallet, your choice made in the quiet, and Ka nods, a gesture so small it's nothing, but it binds you, a pact sealed in stone and fear. Merit turns, her sistrum jingling once, a sound that haunts you as she vanishes into the dark. Ka packs his tools, his face closed, and you follow, the ledge narrow, the figurine still there, its lapis eyes watching. You descend to the ramp, the pyramid's weight heavier now, the crack a secret you'll carry to your grave, or sooner. The torches flicker, the Nile hums, and you think of the boy, the amulet, the drowned man, and know they're part of this, a ledger of flaws the gods never forget. Ka walks ahead, his shadow long, and you wonder if he's cursed, or blessed, or just surviving, like you're trying to. The camp waits below, its fires small against the night, and you trudge toward your hut, your body screaming, your mind louder. The baboon figurine, Merit's words, the crack, There's stones in your chest, and you know you're not free. You understand, as you collapse onto your mat, why this is a death sentence. Not just the falls, the heat, the whips, but the secrets you keep, the flaws you hide. The gods see. The pyramid is more than stone. It's a mirror, reflecting your choices, your sins, your end. You close your eyes, the chant a ghost in your ears, and the crack in the stone is a crack in you, waiting to break. You're a laborer in Giza, and the night is no refuge. Its shadows full of lapis eyes and silent scales. The morning sun is a blade of fire, slicing through the Giza plateau as you crouch in the shadow of a limestone block, your hands trembling as you tie a rope around its jagged edges. The air is thick with the scent of sand and the faint, sour tang of your own fear, and the Nile's distant hum is a mockery of the thirst clawing at your throat. Your tunic is tattered, soaked with sweat, and your feet are raw, the sandals worn to scraps by days of hauling and climbing. You're a laborer in ancient Egypt, 2600 BCE, bound to the Great Pyramid of Khufu. And today you're back on the ramps, dragging a block to the pyramid's growing slopes. The pyramid looms above, its stones a testament to your suffering, its shadow a reminder of the gods' unyielding gaze. Every knot you tie is a prayer for the rope to hold, for the block not to slip, for your life to last another day. Your team, 10 men, their faces etched with exhaustion, works in grim silence, their hands looping ropes, their shoulders braced for the pull. The block is massive, 2 tons of unyielding limestone, and the sled beneath it creaks, its runners worn from countless trips. Your hands, still bandaged from Neetha's care, but bleeding through, burn as you tighten the knots, the rope's fibers biting like teeth. You think of Ka, the mason, and the cracked stone you hid, its flaw a secret that haunts you like the baboon figurine's lapis eyes. You think of Merit's warning, the drowned man, the lotus amulet, and feel their weight, like the gods are carving your name into their scales. The ramp waits, it slopes steep and slick, and you know one misstep could crush you, or worse, damn you. The overseer's shout, Tahotep's voice, harsh as a whip's crack, snaps you to attention. He's pacing the ramp's base, his granite face unreadable, his whip coiled but ready. You stand, your team forming a line, and grip the rope, its tension a lifeline and a noose. The sled groans as you pull, the block inching forward, the sand grinding underfoot. Your shoulders scream, your feet slip, and the heat presses down, a god's hand crushing you. The ramp is a battlefield, its limestone worn smooth by sweat and blood, and you've seen men fall here, their bodies broken offerings to the pyramid's hunger. You pull harder, your breath ragged, and try not to think of the crack or Ka's silence, or the gods who see all flaws. A figure watches from the ramp's edge, not Tahotep, but a man, his frame slight, his linen kilt stained with ink and dust. His name is Imhotep, or so the whispers call him, a scribe who serves Himeyunu, the architect, and whose stylus is said to write the fates of men as well as stones. His eyes are narrow, his hands clasped behind him, and he's holding a papyrus scroll, its edges curling in the heat. You feel his gaze, not on the block, but on you, like he knows about the crack, or the figurine, or the choices you've made. You pull, the rope burning, and wonder if Imhotep's scroll holds your name, your sins, your end. The block moves, the sled steady, but your heart pounds, and you feel the pyramid's hunger, its gods whispering through Imhotep's ink. The ramp steepens, and the block resists, its weight a defiance of your will. A man in your team, his hair gray and thinning, stumbles, his rope slipping, and the sled lurches, the block tilting. You shout, your voice raw, and lunge to steady the rope, your hands bleeding through the bandages. The team pulls, their grunts a desperate prayer, and the sled rights itself, the block settling. The gray-haired man scrambles up, his eyes wide with fear, and you see Tahotep's whip rise, then fall, not striking but promising. Imhotep's stylus moves, a faint scratch you can't hear but feel, and you know the man's mistake is recorded, a debt to the gods, or to Khufu, or both. You keep pulling, the ramp endless, the block a tyrant. The air grows hotter, the sun a furnace, and your mouth is so dry you can't swallow. You think of your old life of water bottles and breaks, but here, water is a ration, and rest is a whip slash. The gray-haired man pulls beside you, his breath wheezing, and you see something around his neck, an amulet, a tiny ankh, it's worn smooth. It's a symbol of life, a plea to Osiris, but it looks fragile, like it could snap under the rope strain. You want to ask about it, to know if it saved him, but his eyes are on the block, and you stay silent, your own prayers unspoken, your gods unknown. A low hum rises from the pyramid's base, a chant that makes your skin crawl. It's the priests again, their voices weaving a prayer to Sekhmet, goddess of war and healing. Her lioness jaws a threat and a promise. You can't see them, but you feel their power like a storm gathering in the heat. The chant grows, and you notice something on the ramp, half hidden by a pile of sand, a small clay vial, its surface etched with a lion's head, sealed with wax. An offering to Sekhmet, or a healer's tool, left where it shouldn't be, like the scarab, the lotus, the baboon. Your heart lurches. Touching it could bless you, or curse you, or mark you for the priest's wrath. You glance at Imhotep, his stylus still, his eyes on the vial. And you know he sees it, sees you. You pull, your choice made in the motion. The vial untouched, its lion, head gleaming in the sun. The gray-haired man notices, his eyes flicking to the vial, then to you, and he shakes his head, a gesture so small it's nothing, but it binds you, like Kaz gnawed over the cracked stone. The block moves, the ramp levels, and you reach the platform, the masons waiting, their chisels ready. You release the rope, your hands throbbing, and step back, the block set, the sled still. Tahotep nods, a grudging approval. But Imhotep's stylus moves again, and you feel its weight, like the vial's lion head is carved into your soul. The chant peaks, Sekhmet's name a roar in the priest's throats, and you feel her presence, her claws, her healing fire. You think of Neith, the healer, and wonder if she prays to Sekhmet, if she left the vial, if she knows about the crack. You think of the gray-haired man, his ankh, his stumble, and wonder if he's marked, like you, like the drowned man, like the boy. The platform is a chaos of torches and men, the masons working, the overseers shouting, and you're dismissed, your team trudging down the ramp, the gray-haired man silent beside you. You want to speak, to ask about the vial, the ankh, the gods, but his face is closed, and the sun is high, burning away your courage. As you descend, you see her, Merit, the priestess of Hathor, standing at the ramp's base, her sistrum in hand, its ring silent. She's watching, not the block, not the team, but you, her malachite eyes sharp as a blade. You feel her gaze, like Hathor's love turned to destruction, and you wonder if she knows about the vial, the crack, the choices you've buried. Do you approach her, confess your sins, and beg her intercession, risking her judgment? Or do you keep moving, head down, and carry the weight, knowing Sekhmet's claws are never far? You choose silence, your steps heavy, the ramp pulling you down, the vial a ghost in the sand. The camp waits, its huts a sprawl of mud and straw, and you collapse onto your mat, your body screaming, your mind louder. The vial Merit's eyes Imhotep stylus, there's stones in your chest, and you know you're not free. You understand as you lie in the dark why this is a death sentence. Not just the ropes, the ramps, the heat, but the offerings you leave, the gods you anger, the ledgers you can't escape. The pyramid is a god itself, its stones your judge, its shadows your grave. You close your eyes, the chant a whisper in your ears, and the lion head gleams, waiting for your next mistake. You're a laborer in Giza, and the dawn will come, its fire sharper than Sekhmet's claws, and you'll pull again, until you break, or the gods do. The twilight is a heavy veil, draping the Giza Plateau in a haze of dust and flickering torchlight as you stand in the quarry's shadow, your hands raw from chiseling a limestone block. The air is thick with the scent of stone and the sharp, metallic tang of your own blood, seeping through the bandages Neath wrapped days ago. Your tunic is a rag, crusted with sweat and quarry dust, and your knees ache from kneeling on the uneven ground. You're a laborer in ancient Egypt, 2600 BCE, bound to the Great Pyramid of Khufu, and tonight you're not on the ramps, but in the quarry, cutting blocks for the pyramid's ever-hungry slopes. The Nile hums in the distance, its coolness a cruel jest, and the quarry's walls loom around you, their jagged faces lit by torches that cast shadows like the gods' own claws. Every strike of your chisel is a plea for the stone to yield, for your strength to hold, for the gods to look away. You're not alone. Dozens of laborers work nearby, their chisels sparking, their grunts swallowed by the quarry's echo. Your partner is a man named Jed, lean and wiry, his eyes bright with a feverish energy that unsettles you. He's younger, his hands less scarred than Kaz, but there's a hardness to him, like he's seen too much and buried it deep. He hammers while you chisel, the rhythm unsteady, your hands slipping on the tool's sweat-slick handle. The block is stubborn, its grain fighting every cut, and you feel its defiance, like it knows it's destined for eternity, and you're not. Jed doesn't speak, just hammers, his blows sharp, and you match him, though your arms tremble, your cuts uneven. The quarry smells of earth and effort, and the torch's smoke stings your eyes, blurring the stone's edge. You think of the lion-headed vial you left on the ramp, its Sekhmet-etched surface a ghost in your mind. You think of Merit's piercing gaze, Imhotep's stylus, the cracked stone you hid with Ka. Each choice is a weight, piling like the blocks you carve, and you feel the pyramid's hunger, not just for stone, but for you, your mistakes, your fears, your soul. The torchlight flickers, and you notice something in the quarry's dust, half buried near your knee, a small amulet, shaped like a wedgeat eye, its blue faience glinting like a star in the dark. The Eye of Horus, symbol of protection, wholeness, power. Your breath catches. Another offering, another trap, like the scarab, the lotus, the baboon. Touching it could save you, or damn you, or mark you for the priest's judgment. You glance at Jed, but he's focused, his hammer steady, his eyes blind to the amulet's glow. You chisel, your choice made in emotion, the wedgeat eye untouched, its gaze burning your skin. Jed's hammer falters, just for a moment, and he glances at you, his eyes narrowing, like he senses your hesitation, or the amulet, or both. Keep cutting, he says, his voice low, rough, like the quarry's walls. You nod, your chisel biting the stone, but the amulet's presence is a weight, and you feel Horus watching, his falcon eyes weighing your soul against a feather. The quarry's noise grows, chisels, shouts, the groan of sleds being loaded, and you try to focus, but the amulet pulls at you, like the chants, the vial, the crack, all tied to the pyramid's endless ledger. A low moan echoes through the quarry, not human, but stone, a deep vibration that makes your bones hum. You freeze, your chisel hovering, and Jed stops, his hammer still. The other laborers pause, their faces pale in the torchlight, and you feel it again, a tremor, faint but growing, like the pyramid itself is stirring. The quarry walls seem to close in, their shadows sharper, and you hear a crack, not from your block, but from above, where the cliff face looms. Dust rains down, and a shout splits the air, Tahotep, his voice a whip, ordering men to clear the area. You stand, your legs unsteady, and grab Jed's arm, pulling him back as a chunk of limestone crashes where you knelt, the block you were cutting split in two, its surface jagged like a wound. The amulet is gone, buried under the rubble, and you feel its absence or its presence. Like Horus's eye is still watching. Jed's breath is ragged, his eyes wide, and you see fear in him, a crack in his hardness. We're cursed, he whispers, so soft you barely hear. But the word is a blade, cutting through the quarry's chaos. You want to argue, to say it's just stone, just chance, but the tremor, the crack, the amulet, they're signs. And you're not sure you don't believe. Tahotep's whip cracks, not at you, but at the air. And you move, dragging Jed toward the quarry's edge, where the overseers herd men like sheep, their torches swaying in the dust. A figure stands apart, untouched by the chaos, a woman, her linen dress pristine, her hair bound with gold. It's not Merit, not Neath, but another, her face unfamiliar, but her presence heavy, like a god's shadow. Her name is whispered by a laborer nearby, Isis, priestess of Isis, mother goddess, weaver of magic. She holds a staff topped with a lotus, its petals carved from alabaster, and her eyes are on the quarry, not the men, like she sees something in the stone or beyond it. You feel her gaze, though it's not on you, and you wonder if she knows about the amulet, the crack, the choices you've buried. Jed pulls free, his eyes on Isis, and you see his hand twitch like he's reaching for something, a prayer, a curse, a weapon. The tremor stops, the quarry still, but the air is heavier, like the gods are holding their breath. Tahotep shouts for work to resume, but the men are slow, their hands shaking, their eyes on the cliff face, waiting for another fall. You return to your block, or what's left of it, and kneel, your chisel useless against the ruin. Jed hammers at a new block, his blows frantic, like he's fighting the curse he named. You want to speak, to ask about the amulet, about Isis, about survival. But his face is closed, and the quarry's noise drowns your courage. You pick up a shard of the broken block, its edge sharp, and feel its weight, like it's a piece of the pyramid's anger, or yours. Isis moves, her lotus staff tapping the ground, and she stops near your block, her shadow falling over you. She doesn't speak, but her eyes meet yours, and you feel a chill, like the Nile's depths are rising to swallow you. The stone speaks, she says, her voice soft but clear, like a bell in the dust. What does it say to you? You blink, your throat dry, and glance at the broken block. Its crack a mirror of the one you hid with Ka. Do you answer, confess the crack, the amulet, your fear, and beg her wisdom, risking her judgment? Or do you stay silent, let the stone keep its secrets, and carry the curse, knowing Isis's magic could bind or break you? You lower your eyes, your choice made in the silence, and chisel at the new block, the shard still in your hand, a weight you can't drop. Isis turns, her staff tapping, and vanishes into the quarry's shadows, her lotus a ghost in the torchlight. Jed's hammer slows, his eyes on the spot where she stood, and you see his hand clutch his tunic, like he's hiding something, an amulet, a scar, a sin. The quarry hums again, not with tremors, but with work. The laborers chisels a desperate rhythm. Tahotep's whip, a constant threat. You chisel, your cuts uneven, and feel the pyramid's hunger, its gods, its choices. The broken block lies at your feet, the amulet buried. And you know they're part of you now, like the crack, the vial, the boy you saved. You understand as you strike the stone why this is a death sentence. Not just the falls, the dust, the whips, but the signs you leave, the gods you defy, the curses you carry. The night deepens, the torches guttering, and you work on, Jed beside you, his feverish energy fading, his eyes dull. The quarry is a prison, its walls your judge, its stones your sentence. You think of Isis, her question, what does it say to you? And hear the stone's answer. You're flawed, like the block, like the pyramid, like the god's ledger. You chisel, your hands bleeding, and the Wedjat eye watches from the rubble. Horus's gaze a promise of protection or punishment. You're a laborer in Giza, and the dawn will come, Its fire sharper than Isis's magic, and you'll carve again until you break, or the gods do. The quarry echoes, the Nile whispers, and the stone speaks, its voice a curse you can't outrun. The midday sun is a tyrant, its heat flaying the Giza plateau as you trudge through the workers' camp, a clay jug of water balanced on your shoulder. The air is thick with a stench of dung fires and the sour tang of unwashed bodies, and the Nile's distant shimmer is a cruel tease to your cracked lips. Your tunic is a tattered shroud, crusted with quarry dust and sweat, and your hands, still bleeding through Neitha's bandages, tremble under the jug's weight. You're a laborer in ancient Egypt, 2600 BCE, bound to the Great Pyramid of Khufu. And today you're not hauling stones or chiseling blocks, but delivering water to the ramps, a task that feels like mercy until you realize it's just another chain. The pyramid looms beyond the camp, its unfinished slopes a silent demand, and the shouts of overseers cut through the haze, sharp as the chisels that carve your days. The camp is a sprawl of mud brick huts, alive with the clatter of pots and the low hum of exhausted voices. You weave through the chaos, your sandals crunching on sand and straw, careful not to spill the jug, because a drop wasted is a lash earned. Laborers slump in the shade, their faces hollow, their eyes tracking you, not with hope, but with hunger, knowing the water's not for them. You're supposed to deliver it to the ramp teams, where the sleds groan and the blocks rise, but the jug is heavy, and your legs ache, each step a negotiation with the ground. You think of the Wedjat amulet buried in the quarry, Isis's lotus staff, the cracked stone you hid with Ka, and feel their weight, like the gods are tying your soul to their scales. Your every choice a debt recorded. A child darts past, no older than 7, his ribs sharp under his skin, clutching a crust of bread. You don't know his name, but you've seen him scavenging scraps, his eyes too old for his face. He glances at the jug, then at you. And you see the question he doesn't ask. Can he have a sip? You want to stop to pour a handful into his cupped hands, but the overseers are watching, their whips coiled in the distance, and water is rationed. It's theft a crime. You keep walking, your heart twisting, and the child disappears into the camp, his shadow swallowed by the huts. You think of the boy you saved on the ramp, his small hand in yours, and wonder if this child will be next, or if he's already marked, like the drowned man, like you. The path to the ramps is a gauntlet of heat and dust, the pyramid's shadow growing as you approach. You pass a small shrine, its mud brick walls crumbling, and see a statue within, a crocodile, its jaws open, its eyes painted green. Sobuk, god of the Nile, protector and devourer. There's a fresh offering at its base, a pile of fish bones, their smell cutting through the dust, and you feel Sobuk's gaze, like the rivers pull when you waited for clay. You hurry past, the jug slipping on your shoulder, and try not to think of the amulet or the vial or the figurine, but they're all there, in your mind, in the god's ledger, tying you to the pyramid's hunger. A voice calls your name, soft but sharp, and you turn, nearly dropping the jug. It's Neith, the healer, standing in the shade of a hut, her basket of herbs at her feet. Her eyes are still heron-sharp, her linen dress frayed but clean, and she's watching you, not the jug, not the camp, but you, like she sees the choices you've buried. The scarab, the lotus, the Wedjat eye. You're late, she says, though you're not sure she means the water, and her tone is a blade, cutting through your exhaustion. You want to explain, to say the camp is chaos, but her gaze holds you, and you nod, mumbling an apology. She steps closer, her basket creaking, and says, the gods don't forgive delays, nor do the living. She points to a hut, its door half open, and you see a man inside, slumped on a mat, his breath wheezing, his face slick with fever. You don't know him, but you've seen his kind, laborers broken by the pyramid, their bodies discarded when the stones no longer need them. Neitha's eyes soften just a fraction, and she says, He needs water, more than the ramps. Your stomach twists. The jug is for the teams. Its delivery, a command from Tahotep himself, and defying it could mean the whip or worse. But the man's breath is a rattle, and neath his words, nor do the living, are a weight heavier than the jug, heavier than the pyramid. You glance at the ramps where the sleds move, the overseer's pacing, and see Imhotep in the distance, his papyrus scroll open, his stylus moving. He's too far to see you, but you feel his gaze, or the gods, or both, recording every choice, every sin. Do you obey Tahotep, deliver the jug to the ramps, and let the man die, keeping your place in the pyramid's order? Or do you give neath the water, save a life, and risk the whip, the scribe's mark, the god's wrath? The child's hungry eyes flash in your mind, the boy you saved, the man who drowned. And you know there's no right choice, only debts, piling like the stones you've hauled. You lower the jug, your hands shaking, and pour a stream into a clay bowl neath holds out, its surface cracked but steady. The water splashes, a sound like rain in the desert, and you feel a flicker of relief, like you've paid something back. Neath nods, her eyes unreadable, and carries the bowl to the hut, her steps quick. You hoist the jug, lighter now, and start toward the ramps, your heart pounding, your choice a stone in your chest. The overseers will notice the missing water. Imhotep will record it, and Tahotep's whip will sing. But you've chosen, and the man's wheezing breath is a debt you've paid, or added to. The ramps are a chaos of motion, sleds groaning, ropes snapping, men shouting. And you climb, the jug slipping, the limestone slick underfoot. The pyramid slopes rise above, their stones gleaming in the sun, and you feel their hunger, not just for water, but for you, your labor, your life. You reach the platform where a team waits, their faces parched, their hands outstretched. You pour the water, their clay cups filling, but the jug runs dry too soon, and their eyes turn hard, accusing. The overseer, not Tahotep, but the scarred man from the river, steps forward, his whip uncoiled, and you brace, knowing the punishment is coming, knowing you chose it. A shadow moves across the platform, and you look up, expecting Merit or Isis. It's Senin, his jackal eyes glinting, his water jug empty, his presence a surprise in this chaos. He's not on your team, not assigned to the ramps, but he's here, watching, his gaze flicking to the overseer, then to you. You gave it away, he says, his voice low, not a question, but a judgment. You nod, your throat dry, and he shakes his head, a gesture that's not pity, but warning. They'll mark you, he says, and you know he means Imhotep, Tahotep, the gods. He turns, slipping into the crowd, and you're alone, the overseer's whip rising, the laborer's eyes on you, the pyramid's shadow heavier than ever. The whip falls, not on you, but on the air, a warning, and the overseer barks for you to return to the camp, your task done, your debt unpaid. You descend, the jug empty, your hands bleeding, and feel the pyramid's gaze, its gods, its choices. The man in the hut, neath his care, Senin's warning. They're all part of you now, like the amulet, the crack, the vial. You understand as you trudge through the camp why this is a death sentence. Not just the whips, the heat, the stones, but the lives you touch, the debts you pay, the gods who never forgive. The pyramid is a ledger. It stones your sins. Its ramps your judge. You reach your hut, the mud brick walls a fragile shelter, and collapse onto your mat, your body screaming, your mind louder. The child's hungry eyes, the man's wheezing breath, Senin's jackal gaze. There's stones in your soul, and you know you're not free. The Nile hums, the camp quiets, and the pyramid watches. It slopes waiting for your next offering. You close your eyes, the whips crack a ghost in your ears, and the water you gave is a debt you'll carry until the gods or the pyramid or the whip claim you. You're a laborer in Giza, and the dusk is no refuge. its shadows full of Sobek's jaws and Imhotep's stylus, recording your end. The night is a suffocating shroud, its darkness heavy with the scent of dust and the faint, coppery tang of blood as you stand at the base of the Great Pyramid of Giza, your hands clutching a tattered linen sack filled with tools. The air is still, the Nile's distant hum a whisper of betrayal, and the pyramid looms above, its unfinished slopes a jagged silhouette against a sky prickled with stars. Your tunic is a ruin crusted with sweat, clay, and the quarry stone, and your body is a map of pain, blistered hands, bruised feet, a back that screams with every breath. You're a laborer in ancient Egypt, 2600 BCE, bound to Khufu's eternal monument. And tonight you're not hauling, chiseling, or delivering water, but facing a summons, a final reckoning for the choices you've made. The scarab, the lotus, the wedjad eye, the cracked stone, the water you gave, they're all debts in the god's ledger, and the pyramid is ready to collect. You are called here by a message, not written but spoken, whispered in the camp's shadows by a boy, not the one you saved, but another, his eyes hollow, his voice trembling. Come to the pyramid's base at midnight. Bring your tools. The gods demand it. No name, no reason, just a glance toward the ziggurat-like structure that made your blood run cold. You could have ignored it, hidden in your hut, pretended you're just a laborer. But the amulets, the priests, the cracks, they've marked you. And running is a debt you can't afford. You stand, the sack heavy, the tools inside clinking softly, and feel the pyramid's gaze, not just its stones, but its gods, its hunger, its judgment. The camp is silent, the ramp's empty, but you're not alone. 3 figures wait in the torchlight, their shadows long and sharp, like the claws of Anubis. Merit, the priestess of Hathor, stands at the center, her malachite-lined eyes glinting, her sistrum silent, but gleaming in her hand. To her left is Neith, the healer, her heron-sharp eyes softened by exhaustion, her basket of herbs replaced by a clay tablet etched with symbols you can't read. To her right is Senon, his jackal eyes unblinking, his water jug gone, his hands empty but tense, like he's ready to strike or flee. You feel the sack's weight, the tools a confession of your labor, your sins. And you know this is the end, the moment the pyramid decides if you're stone or dust. Merit steps forward, her dress brushing the sand, and her voice is soft, a blade wrapped in linen. You've carried their weight, she says, her eyes on the sack. Now you carry ours. You swallow, your throat sand dry, and set the sack down, the tools spilling, a chisel, a mallet, a rope, their edges worn by your hands, your blood. Neith kneels, her fingers tracing the tablet symbols. And you see it, a reed, a snake, a lion's head. The same signs that haunted you, tying the scarab to the vial to the amulet. The pyramid is flawed, she says, her voice breaking, like she's admitting her own sin. Not just your stone, but its heart. The gods see it, and they demand a price. Senon laughs, a sound like breaking stone, and steps closer, his eyes on you, not the tablet. You saved boy, gave water, left offerings, he says. But you didn't save yourself. Nobody does. Merit raises her hand, silencing him, and points to the pyramid's base, where a small niche is carved, barely visible in the torchlight. Inside is a statue, not of Horus or Sobek, but of Ma'at, goddess of truth, her feather crown gleaming, her scales balanced but empty. Before her lies a stone, small but perfect, its surface etched with a single symbol, a circle, broken at one point, like a life cut short. The flaw is here, Merit says, her voice heavy. A stone misplaced, a ritual incomplete. It threatens the pharaoh's Ka, the pyramid's eternity. You must set it right, or the gods will take you instead. She holds out a chisel, its edge sharp, and you realize what she's asking, to carve the stone, to complete the ritual, to pay the debt. Neitha's eyes meet yours, and you see pain, not judgment. I gave you water, she says, because you gave it to him. But this is bigger than us. Refuse, and we all pay. Senon's hand twitches, and you see a knife at his belt, its blade glinting like the wedge eye. Do it, he says, or I'll make sure you don't walk away. You look at the statue, Maat's feather, the broken circle, and feel the pyramid's hunger, its gods, its choices. The cracked stone you hid with Ka, the water you gave, the amulets you left, they've led to this, a final choice. Carve the stone, risk the gods' wrath for defiling their work, or refuse, and face Senon's knife, Marat's curse, Neith's despair, knowing the pyramid will fall, or you will. You think of the boy, his life, a debt you paid. You think of the drowned man, the child's hungry eyes, the crack you buried. You understand, standing in the pyramid's shadow, why survival is impossible. Not just the stones, the whips, the heat, but the ledger, where every choice is a debt, every debt a death. You're a laborer, not a priest, not a hero. And the gods don't want survivors. They want offerings, and you're the last. You look at Marat, her sistrum a silent threat, at Neith, her tablet a record of your sins, at Senon, his knife a promise of blood. The pyramid watches, its stones whispering, and you know there's no escape, only a choice that will break you. You take the chisel, its weight cold in your hand, and kneel before the niche, the statue's feather crown gleaming. The stone is small, its broken circle a wound, and you feel Maat's gaze, her scales tipping, your soul too heavy, too flawed. You carve, your hands shaking, the chisel biting the stone, the circle's edges smoothing, closing. The symbol changes, no longer broken, but whole, a seal, a prayer, a curse. The air grows heavier, the torchlight dimming, and you hear a hum, not from the priests, but from the pyramid itself, a sound that vibrates in your bones. Marat's sistrum jingles once, Neith's breath catches, and Senon steps back, his knife still, his eyes wide. The stone is done, its circle complete, and you drop the chisel, your hands bleeding, your heart pounding. The hum grows, a chant without words, and the niche glows, Maat's feather trembling, her scales shifting. You feel it, a pull, not from the gods, but from the pyramid, its stones alive, its heart beating. The flaw is gone, or you become it, your life the price for Khufu's eternity. Marat's eyes soften, but there's no mercy, only acceptance. It's done, she says, and turns, her sistrum silent. Neith sets the tablet at Maat's feet, a final record, and follows, her shadow fading. Senon lingers, his knife gleaming, and says, you paid. For now. He vanishes, leaving you alone with the statue, the stone, the pyramid. You stand, your legs unsteady, and feel the pyramid's approval or its indifference, a weight that crushes you. The hum fades, but the circle's glow lingers, a mark on your soul. You think of the boy, the water, the amulets, and know they were steps to this, a path you couldn't avoid. You understand, as you stumble toward your hut, why you wouldn't survive. Because the pyramid is a god, its stones your judge, its debts your grave. You chose to carve, to save the others, to complete the circle, but it's carved you, and you're no longer whole. The camp is dark, the Nile silent, and the pyramid watches, its slopes eternal, your life a flicker. You collapse onto your mat, the mud brick walls a fragile cage, and feel the circle's weight, Maat's feather, the god scales. The chisel's blood, the stone's hum, Senon's knife, they're part of you, like the pyramid, like the ledger. You close your eyes, the night pressing close, and see the circle, whole but broken, a mirror of your soul. You're a laborer in Giza, and you've paid the debt, but the gods are never satisfied. Their scales always tipping, their ledgers never full. Sleep well if you dare, but don't be surprised if you wake to the sound of chisels or the touch of a feather under your mat, weighing you one last time. Good night.